Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. What is it? Tuesday. We're moving along this week. Some action, ACTION. How's everybody doing there? There we are. Little blueberry went the wrong way. Blueberries. All right. What do we have here? We saw the euro go down to into a daily sell. Let's see if that's really going on still. And we're seeing all kinds of magical things today. And last couple days, Aussie going in the opposite direction of norm. Same thing with some of the the other currencies too. Let's see. Let's try the euro right there. There's the euro. It's unchanged. Nothing major going on there. You can see that. Let's take a look at it on J4X. Daily. Dilly dilly, as they say in Ireland. Let's see. There it is right there. Probably a little red going on still. Yeah, no real action. Look at the way the white line, the fast-moving stochastic is diving, just diving. Compared to everything else that's going on. So we're already heading for the oversold area. Hey, Farkash, how you doing? GBP, let's see what's going on there. You ask and you shall receive. Cool. Right there. And so, do we have that on the spreadsheet? Which one do we have on the spreadsheet? We have GBP spot. We have GBP Japanese yen. And GBP AUD. And there it is there. We have a spot for it. GBP CHF. Let's take a look at it on this over here. Let's see if we have it on this, on the Chicago Quant. There's JPY. Buckus. No. So what we'll do is we will flip the DocDow to that and put that in there. Let's see how that looks. There's that. You can see on J4X, it's interesting. Look at those green bars at the same time. Well, this is just one day being pushed down too. So that's not the wildest thing, But it is interesting to see the green bars. Let's see. CHF right there. There we go. Wow, what a flat line. We have to widen that baby out, don't we? Look at it. It'll get there. Look at that. Shows you just how minute the measurement that I'm modeling. There's a perfect example of how I developed this to measure, and same thing down at the bottom, to measure particles. So, when I try to bring it into the real world, the visual world, it takes a lot of expanding. Look at that. Look at that. I'd have to do it. That's how small measurement I'm measuring in the movement. Isn't that amazing? That always blows my mind. Let's see. Oh, what's that? Jan says the man. Jan the man. I like that. That's pretty cool. Jan the man says, yo, GBY I think now will be long. Okay, we can take a look at that right after we get done this. That's pretty cool. We just had that. Let's see now. You can see here, it isn't a weekly. So there, when it did a weekly sell, where? Here, and then we did a weekly buy there, and then we went back into a weekly sell here, right there, and we went into a weekly buy there. It's a jumpy little thing, isn't it? And then we went into a daily buy here. That's interesting. Let's throw that one in too. Right there. And then we went to a sell there, but you can't take the sell because we're in a weekly buy, of course. Make it red. And then let's see, you can see this one going up. You can see a little hesitation in here. Oh, we got another sell. Let's put that sell in too right here. All right, like that. And then this goes into the buy there, right at the top of the action, really. The weekly buy. The daily buy goes in, tells you not to be short. That's a good thing. That stops you from being short for all this move up in here. And you can't be long here for this action. You can try to go short here because of that. And it's a upside down. And then you go into a short here. Let's see, we got a short right here. And then you can go short here. It gives us a 1 day buy and then back into a sell again. So we go like, ooh, wrong place. And we go like bing, and then bing, right in there. And that's where we get our money back from this move right here. And there, no more than less than 2 weeks later, it gives you the money back. And that's normally the way it plays. And then let's see what we got. Some sloppiness. And then where are we at now? Did we get into the buy there? No. Let's see. No. No, it was a minus 0.00004. A minus that. And then went into the buy there. And this probably could be tightened up. It's a super 3.5, and it's possible, but let's just look at it this way for the moment. And widen that like so. Make it greenish like so. And it's back into the buy, and it was in the buy from this move here. Right there. So it's an interesting product. What do you see out of that, Farkash? Anything particular going on in your head or what? It's an interesting product. It's a little sloppy, You have to fight all the time to keep your profits, that's for sure. It gives you your money back when you lose it in there, but it's not the happiest thing to want to trade, Not very smooth at all. See, why go contrarian in dropping like a rock? Well, up, down, what's the difference, Just asking. Well, let's go look at the other one again. Let's go back to that. Also, my phone did a ding. Let me see who's dinging me. I'm being dung all over the place. Okay. Now, let's go back to the GBP. Oh, let's put this number in there too. What are we? 2 weeks in a buy. See what I mean? Who wants to trade something that just can't, and it did give us, look at this, how sloppy that was too. I can see tightening up going to like possibly a 5. Let's see what 5 looks like in there. Format indicator, more likely a 5. I can see removing that and then adding a gas line 5 to it. And it'd probably be the same way with the other product too, just because of its, wonky action there. Let's see. Where's 5? I know there's a gas line 5 hiding in here somewhere. I guess I could have adjusted the other one. I guess I should have done that. Let's see how this looks now. Oh yeah, that's a little bit smoother, that's for sure. Goes into the buy here for this ride, so now it's a winner. Goes into the sell here, it's a sideways action. Gets into the buy here, same bad trap of course, but that's okay. And then it goes into the short here, but does that histogram get minus? 00080 versus 0004, yeah. So it goes in there, but then it gives you the short here, and it it doesn't go right at all. Your buys have to protect you all the time. See that, keeping you away from your short. Not a pretty sight. Definitely not a pretty sight. Maybe I'll have to check this out. Now let's do this. Let's put the other product in there and see how good that is. And that was the JPY. There we go there. Now let's widen that out. Now widen it out. There we are. Now I caught the sell for this sell off here. That's pretty good. There's your buy. And you're in a daily sell pretty much most of this action on the downside. Just a little hesitation in here. All that was all in a daily sell with a short. So you caught that whole ride down. This is a little bit smoother, yeah. You know that? For cash, this is smoother. There's no doubt about that. Always. All the time. Always. Yeah. Now, intraday, we can look at it intraday, yeah. We can take a peek at intraday. I just want to just dissect this a little bit more. It went into this weekly sell here, which is cool. Because then, let me just double check that. No, not there. There? Not there. Didn't go into the weekly sell until here. And it goes back into the weekly buy here and catches that nice whole ride up, just like it caught this big ride down. And then it stays in the weekly buy here. You can see that, like that's right there. And then it goes into the daily sell there. It keeps you out of that whole move down to a great extent. I say, yeah, just one day of in and out. And then it goes back into a sell. Now we're back into the buy again. This is a little bit better trending. There's no doubt, but the GBP JPY is much better trending than GBP CHF, you know? Okay, now, what is it, Farkash? You want to look at it intraday? Sure. What would you like in which one? In the CHF? We can do that again. That's no problem. What would you like to see in the intraday? Which, like a you want to see like a 4 hour, or what are you interested in looking at? I'm going to put it in here. This way we have both of them and we don't lose them. GPY CHF. There we are. Okay, now let's see what Farkesh says. Or you don't usually recommend short time frames? No, I go ticks. I'm a big tick fan. I'm a very big. I follow ticks. I like spatial mathematics versus a finite time limit. In other words, you know, if there's no activity, if we didn't have volatility. You know, if the markets didn't have volatility shifting back and forth throughout a day, then you could go with minute charts or hour charts or stuff like that. But sometimes, you know, a lot of action is lost because you're not measuring it because you're not seeing it. So that's why I go tick. But I can do a time frame that you're following. 15 minute? We can do 15 minute. Sure. Let's see. So let's see. Let's save this. Save that workspace. Yeah, okay, that's done. All right, now, and let's see, where am I going now? Where do I want to do this? I want to do this on an intraday. This thing has so many charts in it. See, it has like, you know, 18 charts or 19 charts in it. I want to do it on something. Let's see, where can I do that on the intraday? Let's see. Okay, let's Here, I got intradays up already, so let me do it on my intraday, like here. Okay, so let's see what we have here. Let's grab this one. File, copy window, file, paste window, format, product, GBP, CHF, settings, 15-minute. See what that does. This should be interesting. That's giving us the chart. It's backfilling right now. This will be very interesting. Isn't it? It's doing a nice little slide today, isn't it? It does show on an intraday basis, just looking at it. When it does move, boy, it does move nice, Let's just shorten down the distance a little bit, time-wise. Let's just do it like 6 days. Yeah, there's that example again. We're measuring such a minute move in the math. Wow, look how much oh my God. Look at this thing. How many zeros out is this? Doc is measuring something incredibly small. See, this, like I told, as I always say, I never really think about using that as an example. But look at that. I'm measuring all the way 0.0000. That's how small I'm measuring of movement. Isn't that wild? Well, in intraday trading, yes. In intraday trading, shorter the time frame, the better, obviously. Now you can see here, it goes into the cell very comfortably. Let's see. Let's move that up. And then you can see the buy here. I guess we could try to widen this now a little bit. And then bring it down. Really tight action. I mean, it goes into the buy. Let's do this. Goes into the buy right here, right? And is it there? Yeah, let's do this. Bring the line all the way down. And it's back further. Right there. So it catches that little bounce. That's all it does. And there's one right there. Catches that. That turns into a better bounce because it goes into the buy right there. Catches that nice bounce there, whatever that bounce. Let's move this over a little bit so you can see the increments. So that's 119.80 to 120. Let's see, and then it catches that bounce right there, and just a couple trades or a couple bars, and then it goes into a. It doesn't go into a cell. It goes like that. Let's see, that's a lot of sloppy action in there. You get teared apart. I guess you. This is where we would use the white lines or the time manifold to try to cut out the noise. That's what the time manifold's designed to do. So let me just emphasize it a little bit more. Looking for the real moves. So the time manifold with it, in other words, you wouldn't let it trade inside the time manifold, only when it gets out of the time manifold, like right here, or when it breaks out of it there. So it catches that move right there and leaves a lot of this junk there. So that's how you can. We have codes written for the robot to do that. Interesting. Okay, let's see. Farkash says, or you don't usually recommend such short-term time frames. It all comes down to your tools. In other words, when you're using docs, look, we have J4X right here, okay? And I'm sure we could, let's see what a intraday 15-minute looks like on J4X. There it is. Let's see if we can see some type of analyzation that says, okay, yeah, play it. Okay, well, see, in this case here, the white line has broken down below both rate of change and the fast moving. We've got red bars. So, I mean, you can try to trade it off of that. The moment it comes back up, notice as soon as it does that bouncing thing here, you do get a positive, and it goes negative again. So, I mean, you can try to play it. In this case here, it jumps across here. It doesn't read it very well on that because look what happens. It caves in, and then it doesn't fail. So what you see here by following the J4X one is you see that the white line didn't break the slow or the rate of change, and we get green bars again, and this is going plus again. This never went minus. So it makes back what you lost here. And that's how you would play something like that. But it all comes down to the tools you have. You know, when you're looking at something on an intraday basis, you have to do the back test to make sure that you're going to get more wins than losses, and you're going to gain more money than lose money. You know, and the key is the back test itself. You know, the indicators that you're using. So okay, so GBP CHF is the strongest intraday major pair. Is it really? I mean, strongest downtrend. Sorry. Okay, downtrend. In other words, when it gets going, it really keeps on going. Is that what you're saying? Let's see. We should probably move these dots down. Let's see. Format. Go to properties and just move it to 2. Like that. There we are. Probably easier to deal with that way. So, yeah, you see you get a red dot. Red dot's here for a little bit, and the white and the line here has pierced, but the histogram has not. So that's what it comes down to, is constantly doing research on your tools. You got to keep on keeping your tools clean. You use your tools, and after using them, you clean them and put them away correctly. In this case here, you use indicators, and you use those indicators on different products, be it 13-minute or 15-minute or 17-minute or 4-hour or whatever, and do the same thing. You can see, like I said, I would use the time manifold. Literally, when it breaks down here, then I would take the trades more. Obviously, just the fact that it's through the histogram and the line is through the histogram, I know that there's weakness. But and then you can see this fake out here. That tells you that, you know, it bounced just on an overbought, and it's driving back down again. Let's see if we can widen this out. See, like there. And you get the volatility dot too. So you get the red and the green on the same bar. You get a pop on that after this action here. And you can't take a buy there, of course, because the histogram itself is still minus. Then it gets cleaned out and starts doing this stuff, and works its way down to here, I guess. And how much time is that really between spots? Oh, it's a 15-minute chart. That's right. I'm thinking it was a tick chart. So yeah, it's okay. You know, it's interesting. It's got a lot of promise as a product. And you see the J4X tool we're using over there on the 15-minute. It can be very insightful. I hope that has answered your question. Anybody else out there, please ask a question. That was cool that Jan the Man, you know, basically threw out a second product, which is really interesting. Do you want to see Jan the Man? You want to see a 15-minute of that thing? Let's see what that looks like. Whoa! Let's contract that puppy. Well, first rescale. There we are. And then let's see what we got here. Let's try to make this a little bit darkerish so we can see it a little bit better. So it's minus from all in this area here. Goes into a cell up in here, not there, but right after it, right there. Goes into the cell here, catches this whole move, gives a little volatility stuff going on in here, but you can't buy it, of course, because this is minus the histogram itself. And then it rolls over again, gives you another sell, especially when it breaks the time manifold on the downside here. It becomes a good sell-off there. And then goes above the time manifold again, goes up a little bit for a few, but no green bar, and then we're breaking down again. And sure enough, broke down here, and sure enough, it was another nice little push down. So that's pretty cool. Alrighty. Anybody else out there? If not, remember, traders, it's cheaper by the dozen for the questions. We give a discount on 12 questions. It's much cheaper. Yes, indeed. Ask any question, all questions, whenever questions. Rocky Roly. Yes, indeed. All right. Let's see. Where do we got going on here? Let me see any more questions. Nada. Let's see. Is it possible to paste a link here? Sure. Paste a link. Let's see what happens. A lot of times, I think YouTube gets antsy about, like, don't put HTTP in there or .com. Just put the link in there and leave out .com at the end or .org or whatever, and then we can try to see what you're talking about. What's the link to? Bar chart, Forex market map. Good, put it in there. You can tell us too what's going on with it, but is it bullish or bearish or what's going on this product? You mean, or just something general? Or do both. Do it all. You can do it. Do it all. Oh, a heat map. Okay, cool. Let's see it. I wonder if I can get it up on. Once you do that, I can see if I can get it up on the screen here for everybody to see. Yeah. Interesting stuff. So Swiss is bullish across all majors. GBP bearish across all. Interesting. That's an interesting thing. Okay, so is that it right there? So it's http barchartforexmap.com. Let's see if we can grab a hold of that. Okay, www dot bar chart. Let's see, bar chart /forex /market was that map.com. Let's see what happens there. Aha. I think we got it. Right, let's take a look at this. See if this tells you. Is this what you've been seeing? Is that it? Is that it? So let's see, CHS. I guess that would be the same thing. Yeah. Interesting. Very interesting. Let's see how we interpret this. I guess the best way to interpret that is, let's see if we can do this. Pull that up a little bit like that. There we are. How do we interpret that? Okay, so Swiss on the far left in green is outperforming the 5 majors or 6 majors, which is okay. And then the next one, Aussie, a little less. Then dollar, a little less. And then the euro, a little less. The yen. That's interesting. Look at the yen. Underperforming, right? The most. And then GBP, the most of the most. I see. Yeah. So is that, how do you interpret that? Do you think like GBP has more room to run? I guess that could be it, right? It could be GBP. In other words, maybe it's oversold. Do you follow this thing throughout the last couple of years? That's what I'm wondering. Does it reflect, a period in time where it becomes too oversold because it's underperforming, and then it starts to lift up? And obviously the same thing right now with all the confusion and the virus and all the nervousness in our world and all the money being lent and so forth, the Swiss is the strongest. And I imagine when confidence comes back, then it'll become less confident. In other words, it's a really good safe haven. Good reason to always have a position in Swiss. So is that the way you interpret that? Or is that just me and my psychosis? And Doc he picks up all kinds of strange patterns. So I mean, I look at that and I go, okay, that could be it. That could be the action that we're seeing. All right, we done that. That's kind of interesting. I think it's well worth keeping an eye on. I think I might even try to. I think I'll save this in my trading file, and then try to go back and look at it once in a while, and just see if it shows that type of characteristic where it kind of insinuates overbought or oversold. Trading. There it is, trading. Look at that. Even science is an ongoing research. Let's take a look at that again. Space weather. Science on Facebook. Math proofs. Friends videos. Strings. Physics math videos. Yeah. Okay. Excellent. All right, now let's swing back to the naive, and that is charts. The voodoo. Voodoo, hoodoo, you do. Right there. And that's interesting, too, when you look at J4X with the 15-minute chart. With the way we have the J4X set up, you got a fighting chance to do some intraday trading with it. It is. It's let's see. It's a Katad 123. It is. Let's see how many numbers up. It is. He put the site up, but he kept it out. So here I'm going to grab it and I'll put it on there. And so what you do is you put that in there. And let me see if I can do this. Do I have to sign in? Well, I don't think I'm signed in on this. So. You know what, Farkash? Post it again. Post it again, Farkash. It's that bar chart /forex / market dash map, but you have to put in the HTTP, the the www and the .com at the end. There you go. So that's it right there, and you just put in the HTTP and the www, and then colons or whatever, and then you put in the bar chart /forex market map.com in there, and that'll give you that's well worth paying attention to. That definitely is. It'd be interesting to see if it generated overbought, oversold over time, over weeks and months. All right, where'd we leave off? We left off looking at intradays. That's what we did right there. All right, let's go look at the cable. Mr. Weak. Mr. I can't get out of this paper bag. The British pound. And it has been acting well of late, too. So, boy, how bad did it look like? Here's a good question for you, Farkash. How bad did it look like 4 weeks ago? Must have looked really bad for the cable. Now that you can see, oh, look at this. This is, let's put the daily in there. Right there. Because what was interesting is cable survived last night's selling. Let's see if it is now feeling the pressure of that. Right there. Now it's breaking down now too. Now we're below the daily sell number in that. So just like the euro. Excellent 1, 2, 3. Excellent. So we're seeing the weakness in cable, and it's I guess the heat map says it, but the difference is that the euro fell down first in our math, which is kind of rare. So, and that euro GBP has been working its way down. So cable has been showing some life in it. Are you following any academic currency exchange papers? No, I haven't. Is there any out there worth reading? Janos usually posts something. And if Janos posts it, then I read it. Do you have anything interesting hint to read? Nothing for like academic wise. Where did I see something? I did see something. Next time I see something, I'll save it and bring it to the webinar. Every so often I'll see something. They'll be talking about what do they talk about? Every time I've read, they talk about volume and volatility, and they talk, but there's no real clean, there's nothing really clean because they feel like the fundamentals are not really reflecting that. If when I think Giannis is on vacation right now. I was texting a little bit with him last night. Was it last night? No, yesterday morning. Yes, I was so busy too, and I tried to do a little texting. He sent over a video, and I think he's on vacation now. But when I get to talk to him again, I'll ask him about that. Maybe he can pull something out. I got the profit. Let's see. I got the profit from EG, GUE, and already. Nice. It's been a good morning. Hey, Quad Z, what's happening? CHF, can we have the mathematics on that? Hell yeah. Oh, yeah. Let's go over there and take a look at it. And I will, Farkash, I'll talk to Janos, because Janos chases some of those papers down. Actually, Janos writes some of those papers. So it's always good to get it from the horse's mouth itself. There's the dollar Swiss, and let's take a look at it in our work. Come here, Chicago Quant. Come here. Where are you? There you are. You can see here it went into a daily buy a couple days ago. It's on the fact check on the fact check sheet on line 21. So we're 10 weeks in a sell, 1 day in a buy. Now we're on the second day at a buy. Notice the weekly. Right, where is it, Mr. Mouse? Notice the weekly is still buried down here. And this is just profit taking. Obviously profit taking. I mean, we've been in the weekly sell since up in here. So someone's taking some profits, I would hope. That's usually the way it works, Hey, no problem at all. I mean, that's the whole idea to trade, is to take profits. Let's see, what else can we do here? How do we do this? Look at that. That needs to be moved over, I think. There we are. So the bounce is we'll see. We'll see what kind of life is. And remember, I think the dollar started lifting up a little bit, so um, they started selling some Swiss. That seems to me the logical way. Yeah, and who knows where Janos is at this point? I don't know if it. He's got. I think he's got 2 weeks vacation. He was going to come over here, but then then the virus thing screwed everything up. Next year. All right, there we go. So where did we leave off? So we looked at cable. We've looked at Swiss. We've looked at euro. We've done two different cable pairs, which is interesting. So now, let's see, where do we go from here? Let's go over to Turkish lira. See what Turkish lira is doing. It's in a buy and a buy. Buy and a buy. Buy and a buy. Right there. It was on the edge yesterday. It tried to go into the sell. It's not looking like it may have survived that. It's trying though. You can see J4X is trying to roll over too. But our work tried to do the same exact thing. I mean, it was right on the edge. I mean, minutely on the edge. At one point, I couldn't see the black histogram. It was so much on the edge last night. it was, or yesterday. It was so, or maybe it was last night. Yeah, last night. You can see there's a lower low. So they tried to take that thing down. Didn't do too well at it, but they tried. I guess that oil and gas situation is history now. Yes, indeed. History, history. And you can see there, it would have been so nice if it was what I was thinking. I thought this whole smooth move was some type of deal with the West. I thought that all the central banks were proving that they were going to hold to their word. But it was just, it would literally was, I guess it tells us how thin trading is in the Turkish lira because the traders were afraid to get involved while the oil drilling and gas drilling was going on. So that really shows that there's a very low participation with the Turkish lira. That's what that says. It really does. Very few are trading it. Because, I mean, you got to imagine if there was lots of traders, some would be like, oh, the hell with that. I'll trade it, all the time anyway. But instead, no, the trading actually halted almost, which says a lot. It means that there's very low participation. At least in my head, that's how I interpret it. All right, now let's head over to Canadian. And there is the Canadian. Still lifting. And as you can see on line 20, we are 3 days in a buy with that 3 weeks in a sell. Let's see what that is doing. Are we there yet now? And there's the Canadian on our work. And it's interesting. It's even with a green dot, it's doing some type of weakness in here. Look at that. Just to see how J4X, our fast moving, has turned and is trying to break the rate of change. Our work is breaking down to the 0 line. And then you can see the weekly is not exploding on any fashion there. It went into the sell here. It seems to be hanging around down in here still. So we're not really seeing that much weakness. Or we're not seeing that much strength. And we're actually seeing some weakness that's trying to develop. And as you can see there, it's curving over. I understand. I don't know if there's some type of we thing going on up in Canada with Mr. Trudeau and investigations, and I just saw that he's heading back. The character, that crazy kid from We, is coming back to the United States. Excuse me. I don't know why I feel tired. I felt tired yesterday too. I worked really hard over the weekend, so I try to do lots of labor over the weekend. Because I'm sitting around all day long for 5 days a week. So I try to I try to do physical labor over the weekends just to, more exercise. For exercise more than anything else. I swam. I did swim. Doc swam. And what else did I do? I gardened and I farmed. Did all of it. And then I put together a shower, as my son calls it, a redneck shower. It's a cedar shower. I had it dismantled, and it weighs like 1,000 pounds. So I was carrying pieces around on that thing. That was tiring too. Let's see. Farkash says, getting back to the basics. Let's suppose detect a strong 1 week or multi-day trend. Okay. How do I pick my entry on the shorter term? Would I see. In other words, let's say you see a couple day trend or a weekly trend. How would you trade an hourly, like an intraday interval, be okay, or would I have to go on 4 hour? Well, I don't trade any of those things to begin with, but we can investigate together. Let's find a product. That that isn't a trend. Who do you Farkash? What product is in a trend right now? Do you want to look at like GBP, JPY, or CHF, or you want to look at something that's in a trend, that's been in a trend for 3 days or 5, a couple of weeks, and then we can go and look at a 4 hour interval or 1 hour interval and see if there's any logic to it. We can use our math here as a key to test the work, and then we can put it through the J4X this way, because our J4X does a pretty good job of following things. So see if you can figure a product you want us to look at, and we'll do that. We'll look at the daily and weekly trend and then shift over to the hourly to 4 hour trend and see if we can find a tip-off, if there is any. I always find, now that we're discussing something like that, I can say that over the years, euro dollar, okay, over the years I have noticed that the little intraday squiggles, when I'm trading intraday, does not really have as much influence as you would think from the daily and the weekly. So in other words, a good way of doing that is, okay, there's the we'll use that as a key. So let's do this. So it was in a weekly buy. It's still in a weekly buy. Okay, so it's still in a weekly buy, but you're getting a downtrend. So we went into a daily sell yesterday. All right, so now let's take a look at a 1 hour and a 4 hour on J4X. And then we'll take a look at a 1 hour and a 4 hour using my math. How's that sound? And let's see what insight we can get out of that. Okay. All right, so let's go to a 1 hour there. Where's that at? Right there. Okay, so there's a 1 hour. And we're in a daily sell from, basically up in this area here. Right? No, definitely not. We went into a daily sell. Was that yesterday? Okay, so there's the daily sell yesterday. So we went into the daily sell yesterday. It was weak all day long. It was minus all day long. So let's look at yesterday. So basically we're looking just right here like that. Now there is more up than down. You see that? Now let's take a look at it on a 4 hour basis. It's probably even going to be worse in identifying it. Look at that. So from here, again, see, it's basically the same, but you had four bars in the middle. So looking at the daily sell, I guess what we have to do is we have to see, actually, I guess with your logic, it should be the other way around. So you may be right. Think about this. I'm interpreting it wrong. So are you saying that the are too noisy? No, yeah, they can be. But you know what? It is kind of somewhat proof. Look at this. It's in a, take your logic that you just suggested, okay? It's been in a daily trend, a big strong daily trend. Just because it went into a daily sell yesterday doesn't necessarily mean that the trend is down, has gone down. We're in a weekly uptrend also. So I guess the logic would be is we would be looking for the buys, not the sells in this. So the buys have been pretty good actually. Look at that. There's the buys on a 4-hour basis. There's the buys in a 1-hour basis. So yes, they're in a hourly chart or a 4-hour chart. It does kind of confirm what you're suggesting. Is that now we can go back and look at some other, take some spot checks, go back further. But yeah, so you wouldn't short it just because we went into a daily sell. No, we're in a weekly buy. We've been in a daily buy for a long trend. So the overall trend is up. So now what we do is we go and we look at now there is from the second, Sunday night into Monday, because we're going into a daily sell. Look at the pressure to put on this product. And then it started digging its way out of it after it had confirmed the daily sell, which is interesting because it's not a 3 or 4 day trend, or it's not a weekly trend. So yes, your logic makes some sense there. I've tried that with my work. Let me see if I can put an hourly up on that. And I forget, but I kind of think, I don't remember it being any better or worse. I think that was my conclusion maybe a decade ago, literally 10, 15 years ago. I did not find any, I haven't looked at it in that long a time. So let's look at it through my work. So there's the euro dollar, and the setting will be 1 hour, like that. Go back 6 days. We can scrunch that up. So there's Friday. You can see here it did the same thing like it did on J4X. It breaks down. My work goes into a sell somewhere around in here and comes up a little bit on that and then goes back into the sell and stays in the sell. And then it's really just finally giving a buy up in here. And even now it's failing. So my work instead on an hourly basis is interpreting it more on the downside, because it was heading into it was picking up the pressure of the daily sell. So my math was picking up that daily pressure. So it was telling, that's why I instantly, my first inclination was look for the sell side. But on a slower moving technical tool like this, with the J4X, it actually is more accurate picking up the bounce. Let's see, what do we got here? So we have the narrow down to 1 hour interval. Okay. And then Quad Z says Mahatma Gandhi will now also appear on UK Coins BBC tweets. Really? Wow. Oh, that's pretty cool. Well, I guess he was part of the Commonwealth, right? He's South African born, Mahatma Gandhi, right? So he was he was an Afrikaner, and then over time he moved to, he was a lawyer in South Africa, and then he moved to India, and helped to break up the monopoly, I guess you could call it. Salman Khan next. That's funny. Yeah, anything's possible. I mean, yeah, who knows? I mean, the whole world is flying around in many different ways. Let's see, what do we have about that? Salman Khan, let's see, is an Indian film actor, producer, occasional singer, and television personality. Oh, what's that woman? There's a the Indian community here in the States does pretty well, so we see more and more Bollywood. There's some good Bollywood films out there. There are some good Bollywood films. But yeah, that's very interesting, guys. Very interesting. And it's a good way of trying to interpret the intraday. Matter of fact, we could label this title today: intraday trading compared to daily and weekly trading. That at least we have a good title today. That you guys gave us some good things to play with here, and because it was we were we have really done some really good investigation in pairs trades and what else in there? Let's see. What is this? Because of the born. Let's see. Let me say. He started the British Empire, moving out of India. Right. Exactly. Broke the monopoly up. They had a monopoly over India. Exactly. Born in Gujarat, and because of that, they are putting him on the money. Huh. Banding is pursued by capitalist socialists. Let's see. Branding is pursued by capitalists. I don't know about socialist, but capitalist. Branding like Apple or Google. Branding name or branding like ouch, like you're a piece of cattle and they put your your brand mark on you. I wish I'd seen Ashwal Ray, but that could be interpreted as sexist. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. No, I wasn't thinking about the sexist part of it. I was just thinking about seeing one of the females. There's some beautiful females that actresses. So there's some really good. There's like I said, we see a lot of Bollywood here in the States, so it's pretty cool. Matter of fact, we have Bollywood channels and TV channels and the whole bit. Like Mr. Trump is a U.S. brand, right? Exactly. Yeah, and he is. He's been a brand for a long time. The Trump name. I mean, he sold those casinos. The banks went bankrupt with them, and they still had his name on there. So people think that Trump went bankrupt. The brand name. Basically went bankrupt on the casinos, but I mean, they were so small an item in his portfolio. I think the casinos were less than I've read over and over. And when you look at Trump's portfolio or his assets, that the casinos in Atlantic City were 1% of his assets. That's like, how do you go bankrupt when only 1% of your assets have gone bankrupt? It's because he didn't own them to start off with. He had sold them to this banking conglomerate. So, it's one of those weird things. And Trump's branding, he branded it to people, let people use it. Some of them went out of business. That's the way it goes sometimes. Sometimes you win them, and sometimes you lose them. What about the dollar index? That's a branding name, I would say, yeah. But we're out of time at this point. So we are going to catch everybody on Happy to Hump Day tomorrow. This has been a great day. You guys asked some great questions. We were able to look at some interesting stuff. And it's going to literally be the title of this webinar. And that is that we're looking at intraday trading, intraday trading, intraday trading versus weekly. That could be, I guess that's the best way to look at it, really. Intraday trading versus weekly. So because of the whole thing there. All right. So Katad 123, Quad Z, Farkash, and who else? There was Jan the Man. It was really great. We will catch all yous tomorrow. Doc saying arrivederci. And happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you, to all.